Shallow.
Hello. It sounds like
that's all I got.
a smart house or something. I was
Shallow.
waiting on
Welcome.
the yeah. Dang, you do that really good.
What's that movie? That Disney movie? Smart House.
Smart house.
Yeah.
Yep. Smart house. Black at it again for another one. We are back with another not so private conversation. Daylight savings time is here and it is already dark o'clock and I don't like it.
Oh, wait. Daylight saving times did end yesterday, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're Oh, no wonder I'm so tired, girl, because it's literally my bedtime. Mm-hmm. My bedtime is like 9. I am like exhausted right now.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I am counting down the days until March, until this can be over. I hate that we are still going through this all these years later, but you know,
that's the least bit of my worries this week. We gonna get some news this week.
Oh boy. I will say about daylight savings time, I have been sleeping so much better, and clearly you have as well. I have been so well rested. So that's an upside to daylight savings time. I'm still ready for it to be over already, and it's only day 2, so full day. And like you were saying, tomorrow is the big day, election day. I just want to go. I want to go hide under a rock somewhere, But we do know that tomorrow there will not be a decision.
Yes.
So
when do you think we're gonna get?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I feel like it's gonna be some drama.
I'm trying to be positive. I'm anticipating that we're gonna know something by the end of the week. That's why this week just feels like it's just gonna be horrible. But at the same time, like you said, I do feel like there's gonna be some drama like there was with the last election, except like times 10.
Like, right, times 10. Like every month of this year, there has been drama. Every month came in with the shits. So November is going to be the shits on steroids. But so we do have to wait for all the ballots to be counted. And all I can say at this point, like, we have done our civic duty. Yeah. If you are a person of prayer, all I can say is pray.
If you have not voted, please go vote tomorrow.
Vote on election day, correct. So it's Monday for us. LDBs, you guys are hearing this on Thursday. So technically today is Thursday. So somebody from the future, tell us what happens. Did the world end? Did all hell break loose? Did Trump steal the election?
I've been seeing all these reports and videos of these Trump supporters pulling up in vans and trucks and like at polls, and it's just, it's just funny how some things are only illegal like when Black people are doing it, but not necessarily when white. All of a sudden it's not an illegal act because
they're running
white
Biden tour buses off of the road. The cops aren't doing anything. These details that these buses have, like, they're outnumbered 50 trucks to 1, and it's a mess. And I think that it's gonna get worse. Like, I would love to be just completely optimistic and everything's gonna work out, but 2020. So
they got some, like, it's some real gang shit, like gang, like, for real. That's what they like. That's what they reminded me of.
They have ganged up. They're a bunch of thugs doing thug stuff.
Thug shit, thug life, thug living.
I'm so glad to be technically off for the next 2 days.
Me too. I'm glad you're off.
I want to stay home and just hide underneath the covers. Like, I don't even want to be connected to social media and the news and all that stuff. Like, I just feel such a ridiculous amount of dread. I also feel the disappointment looming, but at the same time,
Right.
I want to hold out hope so
Yes.
badly. I really do, because I'm like, we cannot do 4 more years of this. But
Right.
the way this year has been going, the way that politics and this whole presidency has been going, I guess I just like, I won't be surprised. And
I
that's just kind of how it
know
is.
I hate when you talk like that, because I'm just like positive think, no negative thoughts, because you never know what's gonna happen. Keep hope alive, my
I'm with
sister.
you. I'm
But
with you.
so
Fist in the air. But there's a part of me that takes over that is just the realist side. And it's almost like prepare for the worst. Like pray for
Mhm.
the best, but prepare for
Prepare
the
for the
worst. And
worst.
so that's my way of
I get
mentally
it.
preparing for the worst.
I get it, but it's just kind of like I was thinking it, but I'm just pushing it in the back of my mind. But then Mia voices it, and I'm like, "Come
I
on,
just say
girl!
it.
I
Yeah,
I
I know.
just departmentalized this thought, and now you just want to open up doors and shit." So it's just
Hey, balance. I'm the realist. You're the optimist. Balance. You be preaching about balance the most. So there's some balance
Ugh.
for you.
I just be talking.
Cause you be feeling the same way I be feeling.
That's true.
You
That's
just don't
true.
admit it as
I
readily
don't.
as I do.
I don't. I be like trying to hold on to the positive side. I mean, but I did this last time, so
Right?
and we saw how that came out. Okay, we're
We
not talking about this. See, look
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah,
got me
yeah.
going. You got me
Whatever.
slipping.
So that's what's funny. Whatever happens, it has already happened because everybody's hearing this on Thursday. So whatever happens, God, please shine your light down on us because we clearly need it.
Mhm.
So I have been thinking a lot about friendships. And of course, when you think about friendships, you think about your personal um friendships.
Mhm.
And looking back now at 31, I can really be extremely appreciative of the friends in my life. Like my friends, and you can attest to this, my friends are like family,
Right.
especially my girlfriends. Like my girlfriends are like my sisters.
Right.
And it's important to note that like we've known most of our friends for anywhere between 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like we
It's
talked about that
long.
between us. We've known each other for years, longer than we've
Yeah.
known so many other people who have come and gone in our lives. And then I was started thinking about how difficult it is to make friends as you get older.
Yeah.
Real friends. Like
Yes.
usually you're acquainted with or you're introduced to a friend of a friend or your significant others, friends and
Mhm.
significant others, or family friends or work
Right.
friends and colleagues.
Right.
I think about how hard it really is to make friends and build relationships. Like,
I think it's personally, I think it's hard for me because I'm always of the mindset like say no to coworkers. I just feel like the older we get is like it seems like the only place we're going to be able to meet these people and form these relationships are people that we work with because that's where we spend most of our time.
right.
But I don't want to be that person. So I kind of fight against it so much. And now that I live in Baton Rouge, like when I tell you, like, I barely have made any new friends. And a lot of
Mm,
times I think about it because I'm like, okay, I just need to just be more open. People, it's not that people don't invite me places. I get invited places all the time.
right.
I just don't. I just don't go. My
Mhm.
my perspective is I see these people and spend most of my time with these people. So why would I want to spend additional time as
Mhm.
well? And at each job I had like a select few that I've like created a bond and I'll hang out with, but it's been difficult like holding on to it past work.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I think when I first moved to Houston, I had a few people that I knew out here, but really I actually relied on making friendships through work. And I made a lot of really great friendships through work. And those friendships have kind of cooled down because I'm not at that particular job anymore, but I still have those friends. And so I was kind of like you. I wasn't looking to make friends with anybody that I work with, but that job happened to just be a sociable job, and it worked out. Um and like I said, I still have those friends for the most part, those friends to this day. And then I was also thinking about losing friends and growing apart from people that you considered friends. And I know, you know, a lot of people use the word friend very loosely, a lot of times.
Right.
And I made it a point to unlearn that and relearn what a
Right.
friend actually is. And when I did that, I noticed that my circle of friends got so much smaller.
Exactly. And because I don't want you or other people to think that I just don't associate with anyone that I work with or hang out. It's just that term friend, I take it very seriously, and it's only assigned to like my close knit group. Like I don't consider everyone my friend. And it's bad because there actually was this girl that I work with ask me if we were friends. And I was just like, I wouldn't say that we're friends. I would say that we're associates or acquaintances. And her feelings look, she was young. Her feelings look so hurt. And it's like I had to explain to her like what a friend meant to me versus what it meant to her, and why I don't use that term for everyone.
I'm
And
glad you said that, because that, like I have this like internal dialogue with myself where I really have conversations with myself. So I thought about this. And so that's why I'm kind of like bringing it to you so we can just kind of like flesh it out and put it all together to make it make sense. The stages and the degrees of friendship. So I made sense of it by labeling. So like you said, acquaintances or associates. Some people don't get into labels, but I think that there are different degrees of friendship that we all kind of go by.
right.
So of course, you have strangers, you have associates or acquaintances, then you have casual friends, and then you have your close friends, and then you have your really intimate non-sexual friends.
Right.
So think about how many acquaintances and casual friends that you have.
A lot.
That number is huge. I have a lot of casual friends.
Yeah.
Now think about how many close and intimate friends you really have. Like the people who really, really, really know you.
Right.
Like that number is drastically reduced. And I can say I can maybe count them on a hand and a half. Maybe.
Uh, yeah. Same. Yeah,
I
I agree with that.
Another question I had was, how often do you evaluate your friendships and you get an understanding of those friendships in a really honest way? So how do you determine who is a close, intimate friend versus who's a casual acquaintance, or who's just a casual friend?
So a casual friend to me are the people that I do label as casual friends, are those friends that I hang out with, we chat, um, frequent, but not like often. But I don't share anything intimate about my life with
Right.
them on the
There's
most part.
no major depth to
Right.
those friendships. Yeah.
Right. And then of course my close friends, I talk to them about pretty much everything. Like they know about a job change, they know about
We
that's
share a lot of personal
yeah.
like our innermost thoughts, like we're dealing with relationship drama, we're
Right.
dealing with something that has
Exactly.
happened within our family, or just some sort of like inner conflict, or
Right.
you're the first person I share the good news with, stuff
Right.
like that. Like there's a depth to intimate friendships that doesn't really exist with like casual friendships. And so
I value like my casual friends.
Yeah.
But I am a bad casual friend. Like I just am. Like
what makes you say that?
So you guys know me. Like y'all know me. Y'all been knowing me for a long time. Y'all kind of know patterns that I display at certain times, and like y'all don't get offended because y'all know me. Y'all know that I don't like to text. And y'all know that I probably might respond in a group chat twice a day. And like y'all are okay with that. But those casual friends, they don't know me like that. So they take that personal. Like, oh, you just not texting me back. And I'm just like, I'm just not a person who's around my phone like that. Like I will let my phone die and be like, well, I'll just charge it later.
This
I will
child
leave.
be operating on like 10%.
Yeah. I feel like I keep it low on purpose.
Hold up. You be operating at like 10% at like 8:00 in the morning. And I don't understand.
I do.
But as your friend, I just, I'm like, that's just what she do.
Put
that's
your
her
phone on the
pattern
charger, girl. That's what she tell me. But I think I do that on purpose because it helps me like control the want to like go on social media and spend my time doing that. So when my phone dies, and because a lot of times I'm like scrolling through Instagram, going through Facebook, phone dies. All right, well that's done. And it's like, and I'm not charging my phone back for a couple of hours. So it's like I'm not interacting. But like I said, those casual friends, they take it personal. I have to explain that. They have to get to know me. And a lot of times I just don't want to take the energy to have to explain this to someone that I know that once they move on or I move on, we're probably not going to be as close or hang out or talk as much anymore. So in the long run, it's really not that big of a deal. But I also know that's bad to think that way. So it's something that I am working on. I'm still in the oven.
She's still cooking. Which is, I mean, that's understandable. I get it. For me, like friendship is about understanding. Like it's an understanding. And I think that it's more than just a good time together. Although, good times are included. A friend is so deep to me because I place such an emphasis on personal relationships with people. And so friendship itself is one of my values, which I actually came to learn through therapy. So my therapist and I were talking, and she happened to mention that Aristotle, I think that's what she said, Aristotle, the Greek dude or whatever.
That
Greek dude. He said that there are 3 types of friends. So you have your friendships of utility. And so friendships of utility basically exist between you and somebody who's useful to you in some kind of way.
Right.
Like the coworker that helps you figure out how to unjam the printer, or the person who helps you fix your computer, stuff like that. Maybe the person who will run down and get you a coffee really quick, and then you'll run down and get them a coffee or whatever. It's kind of like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So like friendships of utility, and then you have friendships of pleasure, and those are the people whose company you enjoy. A lot of times they're like your go-to activity buddy. So y'all can hit the bar together, y'all can grab some food together, maybe you can go shopping for a little bit, you can catch a movie, you'll have a casual conversation about next week's plans or something like that. But you have this kind of relationship with the person that you can just like chit chat a little bit with, and maybe crack a good joke. You like their intelligence or their compassion or whatever. And I know we talked about proximity before, but these people are typically close in proximity to you.
Right.
And we
Shout out to my
build
girl Jashonda.
we build relationships and friendships because of our proximity to people. And that's pretty common. So there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have your friendships of the good, according to him. It's just called friendships of the good. And these are relationships that are based on mutual respect and admiration. So these friendships take a lot longer to build than the other two kind, but they're also more powerful and more enduring. So these typically happen when two people recognize that they have similar values and goals, when they have similar visions for how the world or their lives should be. And not infrequently, they begin in childhood or adolescence or college or, at some point in your life. But a
Right.
lot of them form in adulthood as well,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's your experience or not. But this is where a lot of us get caught up. I truly place a lot of value on those friendships of the good. But what if those, I guess that's my big question here, what if those longer lasting friendships begin to change and we start to grow apart? Then what do? We spend all this time growing this friendship. Then what do we do when this friendship or we begin to change? We
Right.
start to grow apart. These are people that we thought would be in our lives forever.
Right.
And
And
now they're no longer our friends for one reason or another.
so I feel like, everyone has had that happen.
Mhm.
I guess it just depends on what level of a friend they were, or are you just talking about like that close friend?
Well, if you kind of fall into that category of you are part of the friendship of the good, and this is a relationship that took years to build, and this friendship
Mhm.
was more powerful and more enduring. So you are more of so a close friend, not just a casual friend,
Right.
um, but you've grown apart. I don't know. Like I feel like we see and hear all these quotes about friendships ending, and a lot of them just sound like a person got kicked to the curb.
Yeah. I actually don't like when I remember we were talking about this. Was this today? And you had said like outgrow, and we were both like,
Ugh,
"Ugh," like we both didn't
yeah.
like the
I didn't
sound of
like that
like
term.
outgrowing. What is it about it that you didn't like?
I didn't like the thought that, to me, like in my mind, it painted a picture of I'm growing bigger, stronger, and better than
Yeah.
this person. And so I'm going towards
Right.
success, and this other person is going towards like nothing. So they no longer
Right.
serve a purpose to me. And
Okay.
it didn't
Yeah.
sit right with me, although you can look at it many different ways. I just didn't get
Mhm.
um that initial feeling. I didn't like it when I thought about you just outgrew this friendship, as if the other person wasn't growing as well.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, so
That's pretty much how I feel. Like I feel the same way. It's just like the way you explain it, and because you're not useful to me anymore. That's the part
yeah,
that's like it is just so cringe.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that. But people take these things personally, and I get it, because at one point in time I probably would have taken it personally as
Hmm.
well. But, you know, not necessarily that I kicked you to the curb because you did something to me, or because you
Right.
ain't you're not doing what I want you to do, or because, you're not going the way I want you to go, or whatever. It's nothing like
You're
that.
just
It's just
going in
what
different directions.
yeah, like what about these friends who you just drifted apart? You began your growth process, and the growing and evolution between the two of us took us on two different paths. We're going in two different directions. Like, what do you do with that?
I kind of feel like if both parties want to maintain a friendship, they would find a way to do it. But like by communicating, um I guess that growth in that direction that they're going in, because the only reason you guys are growing apart or going in two different directions is because you're not communicating it, having that conversation, keeping each other informed. So
Right.
it's really like, oh, okay, I've moved to this level in my life, and I'm
Mhm.
introducing you to this person that you don't know anymore because I haven't spoken to you about anything
Yeah.
that I have going on in my life and
Mhm.
how I got here. So it's foreign. And that I feel like that is what causes the distance.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm a totally
Exactly.
different person than
Right.
what, you previously knew. It also had me thinking about, um, just maybe who you've grown to be and who they are and who they've grown to be.
Yeah,
You're
that
just
could be
no
the
longer
case.
compatible anymore. You're no longer also suitable anymore, you know? Because
That could be the
that's for
case.
friendships too.
Yeah. With
Mhm.
your friendships, we pretty much have like the same kind of tight circle, but
Right.
we do each have like a sprinkle of other people that
Right.
we are close to as well. So, and I'm not exactly sure because I don't even really know if we've really talked about this, but have you had this happen? How did it, like, I know there was, like, guys that we talked to and kinda
Girl.
outgrew, but, like, was there anybody who you considered a friend and you kinda moved in different directions? How was that handled? And if y'all were friends in your 30s, would you have navigated that differently?
think I think so, because I factor in, like you said, like different life decisions were made, goals, values, priorities, all that stuff tends to evolve or it just
Right.
changes, and that's allowed. I guess I'm wondering, like, when something no longer aligns with who you are, is it okay to move on?
I think
Like,
so.
that's been my question because I'm like, that tells me, like, when you're holding on to an old version of a person, you start to lack interest or you start to feel a
Yeah.
strain or the complexity of the relationship may now be too much for you.
Mhm.
Is it okay to move on? I've had friendships to end, whether it was by my choice or by another person's choice. And in my 20s, they were handled a certain way. And I don't think that I really placed much of an emphasis. There was no
Yeah.
drama or no major issue. It was just like you the choice was made to end the friendship or
Mhm.
we just stopped speaking for whatever reason
Right.
and it just was what it was. I'm
Right.
one of those type of people where it's like when I no longer feel that this is essential to me, um, then I feel like I need to simplify. I feel like I need to move on. That's how I operate, and that's just what it is. Like I can't even say that I've lost friendships because if you no longer speak to me, I can tell you on my part, there's no beef. I can guarantee you
Yeah.
that.
That's how I feel.
I can guarantee that there is no beef. Like I'm at the point in my life where I'm full of peace in my friendships and who I choose to keep around. Like I've had so many different realizations and I feel like a lot of us have in our downtime with this year have been able to sit down and really reflect on um what we're doing, what we're doing
Mhm.
together, what we're doing when we're by ourselves, and a
Mhm.
lot of stuff starts to get really clear. Like one of the things that I learned this year was that you can't hold on to people because of the amount of years that you've known them.
Oof.
Like you this you just can't. You got
I
to be okay with letting go of people that you were probably friends with for 10, 15 years. You could have
Right.
been close friends with them from high school and college, but not everyone is meant to be a part of every level of your life. And you have to be okay with that. That's a huge friendship lesson that I've learned this year. And I have learned to be okay with it. I'm not finna sit here and argue with you. I'm not finna fight you. I'm
That's
not finna
true.
beg you. Like,
Mm-mm.
we have our differences of opinion. But like you said, if you can't communicate openly and honestly with me about things, then maybe who we are as people don't align the way that we thought we once did.
I've always known this because this is something that my parents kind of like preach, especially my dad. Like you're gonna have friends like after high school that starts dropping out like flies,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like you swear y'all were best friends in high school, and then you're gonna look back. It's gonna be your 10-year reunion, and you haven't talked to this person in years, and that's exactly what happened. We had our
Yeah.
10-year reunion. It was like,
If it wasn't for
for the
Facebook,
last
I would
time.
have probably never laid eyes on you. I probably would have never
Right,
spoke two more words for you. Like,
right.
yeah, that's really real.
And it never, especially now, it doesn't bother me when someone stops talking to me. It's
Right.
just,
Mm-hmm.
y'all know, we talked about this last week. I am a mind my
Mind your
business
business.
type of person. Ooh, wait until the next story time, y'all. Ooh, somebody was trying to throw their business on me. Anyways. So I just like when we talked about ghosting, like it just don't bother me. It don't bother me. What bothers me is how I make the person feel.
Mm.
So if somebody ghosts me, it's like, psh,
All
no
right.
biggie, whatever. As a friend, if it's a guy, that doesn't matter. But as a friend, when if I'm I can't really say I've especially recently I've felt any way about someone and was like, yeah, maybe we just can't be friends. Like I don't so I guess I really don't have like a like a reference point. Like I really don't. It's like I'm telling you something about getting older where these
Yeah.
things just it's so easy. You don't even think about it. It just happens. Like you go
Mm-hmm.
in two different directions. You see, and that's crazy. Like some of these people, I see them on social media, and I'm like, oh my god, look, they had a
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
Me and you will talk about it. We'll be like so happy for them. We'll be like, oh my god, their husband. We'll be gushing over their lives, and then it's nothing. Then we just move on.
That's just it. It's like, okay, they're doing
Yeah,
good. Okay, on with my
right.
life. No second thought about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
I
I,
think in
I
my 20s, I cared more. Like I cared more about how
yeah.
me not putting forth an effort would come off to that other person, and I didn't want them to seem
Mm-hmm.
like they weren't important.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like try to maintain friendships, like, and it would be like a lot of times like one-sided, but in
Mm.
one-sided because like I want to show them that we are friends. We're not growing apart, even though we are growing apart. But shoot, I grew out of that. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, girl, see you on the other side, girl. Hope
Right.
you do good.
Right. No love lost. It just is what it is. I was thinking
Yeah.
like sometimes it's kind of like that really cool shirt that you loved for years, but girl, you know you don't fit this no more. You have to let it go, right? That pair of jeans that was so comfortable and now they
Right.
don't fit you anymore. It's not to say that you are better than them, that you just outgrew them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they just don't belong in your closet anymore.
I like
What
that
was that
metaphor.
clip that said that there are seasonal people and lifetime people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, some seasons are long, some seasons are not. You just have to pay attention. I think it's really important to evaluate your friendships and personal relationships. It's important to reflect. And then, you got to work on it.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
if it's not working, acceptance is
Yep.
key. acceptance is the key, which is what I think you were getting at earlier. Like it just, it just kind of is what it is. There's no beef. There's no love lost. I don't wish ill upon you. I don't wish ill upon anybody. I respect, people for who they are and the decisions that they make, even if those decisions don't align with who I am and what I'm trying to do in my life. That's
Right.
you. You know, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, you got that. You got that for me. I think that's
Right.
really important when it comes to um friendships, especially now, like in our 30s. Things have changed just so much,
Yeah.
like from our teens to our 20s to our 30s. I feel like this is the most clear that I've ever been in my life when it comes to friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
I just
Because you
feel
know
really
what you
clear.
want and you know what
Yes.
you're willing to accept and you
And
know
I've
that
had
basically what your
so
boundaries
many,
are.
I have my boundaries. I have experience in so many different ways that I've been able to weed out so many
Mm-hmm.
things that, just things that have taken place. So I had like some questions that I wanted to ask you around
Lordy.
friendship. And I just, just for conversation purposes, just for maybe like informational purposes, things that we can use to be better. I had just had a few little questions. So I wanted to know, have you ever held on to a friendship for too long?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like everyone has at least once, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Guilty.
Yeah, I think it was like trying to keep something that, you know, I thought that we still had for years because we have when you've been friends with someone for so long and they know so much about you and you basically grow up with them, you try to hold on to that.
Mhm.
So I've had that happen like a few times. And like I was raised in Lake Charles, but I'm not from Lake Charles. So I had friends like growing up. And then when I moved to Lake Charles, I was friends with them until I was in high school. And pretty much we just kind of went in separate directions once we got to high school. And that's like, okay, they've been like, I met you guys in middle school, but they had been my friends since elementary school.
Right.
But like that distance and stuff, and I had like one particular friend and she would come visit and spend the night. Like we was like keeping up with our friendship. And then in high school, we just went two different directions. I was
Yeah.
very involved in sports and stuff like that. And she wasn't really involved in athletics. And when we played sports, we traveled a lot. So most of my time was with y'all. So
Right. Right.
and I tried to hold on to that for so long. But at the end of the day, I had to, and this was like I said in high school. It just in high school, I definitely handled it differently than I would have handled it in my 20s and 30s because at that time, I was so self-involved with what I had going on that us like going in two different directions didn't even really like come to my mind. I don't think it came to her mind either until like we would see each other when I would go back home and visit. It'd be like, "Oh, hey." And then of course like, you have them happen after high school, which we all had those as well. And try to hold on to there's like a few that I tried to hold on to after high school cuz they were important to me and I still value the experiences that I've had with those people cuz they're part of your growth.
Right.
And at that point I definitely handled it differently. It was more like, oh my God, I'm losing this person
Yeah.
versus like,
Mhm.
oh, we haven't talked in years like it was in high school. And but like I said earlier, I haven't had anything recently. Is if we go in two different directions, go in two different directions, and that's cool.
Yeah, it just
So
kind of is what it is. What
yeah.
about this one? Um, can I don't know, can a casual friend or maybe a close intimate friend hurt your feelings? and you still remain friends with them?
Yes, me and you have definitely had moments where we have hurt each other's feelings. Me especially, because I'm more sensitive than you are. You're just a cold-hearted blue blood.
I have feelings and emotions.
She's just not.
I just know how to regulate my emotions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Cold, like I said, cold.
I'm not cold.
But like it's when you have a close, intimate friend, you are gonna have times where you hurt each other's feelings. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes
right.
A lot of unintentional.
Right.
And I remember, like, girl, we've been friends for like 20 years. So
it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's like, I even if it's intentional, it's just like a lot of times it's like, well, we was butting heads or something anyway. So it's just
and then to say pause.
Yeah. Because
when has it been intentional? I have never intentionally hurt your feelings.
I'm thinking, like, if there ever was a time when it was intentional, it's probably because at the time we were like just butting heads. So it was probably like intentionally unintentional, you know what I'm saying? To where we're just moody and we have attitudes and they just come off mean. Because you know how you get. Anyway.
You almost made me spit. Yeah, you better be playing.
But like I said, it's important to remember, like, like, with you, it's like, okay, well, she's been in my life for this long. Like, shit, I got two brothers who hurt my feelings far worse than she has, and I still talk to them. So this is no big. Someone who's looking out for my best interests hurting my feelings ain't that big of a deal,
right? As long as
especially if it's like nothing serious.
Yeah, like unintentionally, it's probably gonna happen. You're dealing with two different people, two different experiences, two different types of emotions. Like it's gonna happen. Can a friend hurt your feelings and you still remain friends with them? Yes, as long as, like you said, there's communication and there's like a level of transparency where we can talk. Like, you hurt my feelings, bitch.
Pretty much.
And we go on to talk about it, and it it works itself out because you understand that the friendship is a priority and the friendship is important. So have you or a friend ever ended a friendship, and what was your reaction to the ending of that friendship?
Like, formally?
I mean, well, I would take it any way that you can explain it. Did you ghost a friend? Did you just say, okay, this is the last straw, I cannot deal with them anymore? Or have you ever just had like a formal, I can no longer be your friend because of these reasons? Like, what ended a friendship?
So I've had like a friend where I was like, yeah, we cannot be friends because A, B, C, D, and E. So I've had that experience. That was like in my mid-20s. And then like it was easy at the moment because I moved at that same time. So it was just like, well, I guess this is it. And then I've also had one that was just like ghosting, like the one in high school was just kind of like, well, we just stop. Well, in that situation, it was kind of like we ghosted each other. And then I had another one that like comes to mind when we're talking about like intimate friends, because none of these people were casual to me. Where I think this is the worst that I handled it. I was like in my early 20s, and I just think because how our friendship ended and the way that everything was happening on each side at the moment and different information that was get fed to the both of us, it just ended it was like poshly ugly. So it was like a ugly ending, but like in a wrapped in like a red bow. It was like nicely ugly. Does that make sense?
Nicely so you got to go into more detail. How can something be nicely ugly?
Because it was kind of like understood that, okay, yeah, that we won't be, this is pretty much like the end. We're not really friends. And um like we had like exchanges that weren't so nice, but wasn't really like going off on each other at the same time. And but then like after that, when we see each other, it was just like, oh, just like catching up, but it just felt forced. So it was kind of like polite. It was like politely ugly. And but you know what? It was a lesson because um we actually are friends still to this day. So it was like at that moment in time we had it. We're not as close as we used to be, but I do still consider her a friend, and I do still call her a friend when I refer to her. So, you know, but I have to admit that I was just so emotionally invested at that time, not understanding like this could be the best for both of us because we're basically, like you said, going in separate directions. So, you know, one day maybe we can find ourselves back to each other, because I've had that happen. People that I stopped talking to in high school, and like it's 10, a little more than that, years later. And like I ran into this person at this place or at that place, and we were like, oh my God, what have you been up to? Realized that we were like interested in the same things, exchanged numbers, and started hanging out. So, you know, you never know.
That's a pretty good point. I have ended friendships, and I've had friendships ended with me. You know, choices were made to no longer be in communication or be as close or be as casual or close or intimate or whatever. You know, sometimes me ending a friendship looks like we unfollow each other on everything. We no longer communicate via phone call, via text, via whatever. And there's no explanation. It's just, I've come to some realizations. You're good where you are. I'm good where I am.
Ooh.
Peace be with you.
Ooh.
Just is what it is. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. And then sometimes there was some sort of a small dispute, a small spat or something like that. You disagree with my thoughts. I disagree with your thoughts. I'm vocal about how I feel. You were vocal that you didn't like how I felt. And, you know, okay. And that is what it is. And you know, like I said, choices were made because you always have the choice on who sticks around you and who doesn't. So just me being me, I respect that. I don't have no beef, but I'm not about to be up in your face asking you 5 million different questions about our friendship or lack thereof. Like, it's not about to do that. It is what it is. Like, I'm totally, like I said, at a place of peace with anybody who's ever chosen to not continue a friendship with me. Just like I hope, you know, people are at peace that I've chosen to not continue a friendship with them. It just, I have like I truly am at a place where I have no beef, no issue, no nothing against nobody. I really just, I respect people. I can disagree fundamentally with what you choose to do with your life, with whatever. That ain't my business. And like, I'm gonna just I will keep it to myself. And we don't have to speak. Just know that I wish you well. I'll never wish ill upon you. And we can keep it moving. I will always be cordial and nice and acquainted with you. But we're just not close, intimate friends. And I think that that's okay. I think that that is okay. Like I said, we're not meant to be with every single person at every level in every stage of our life.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
I agree with that, and I know that. I do think that that is one of the reasons why I don't allow people to get too close to me, because so I do understand that people sometimes a person is just like a stepping stone in your life, or just like in that one chapter. They're just like
Yeah, like seasonal.
yeah, like a leading
Yeah.
lady in that chapter. That's it. In season 1. But season 2 come around and it's like, well, is on to the next one. Or I'm a
Yeah.
brand new beep. But
Mhm.
I just, because of that, and because I know that, I feel like I intentionally keep people at an arm's distance, because I'm not a user, and I don't
Mhm.
want
Mhm.
people to feel like I'm using them just until they benefit me. And I just don't,
Right.
yeah,
Those
and
friends of utility. Mhm.
right. And I don't want to have to deal with the growing into different directions part of it, and potentially
Yeah.
have to explain that to
Yeah.
someone. So I kind of just keep people at a, like, the
Arm's length.
people,
Mhm.
yeah, I just, I don't know. Like, like I said, I have casual friends. My casual friends, they're just that, my casual friends. I don't see, like, I don't require too much from them in a relationship.
Right,
Just
right.
like a good happy hour and maybe a game night or two, like every
Right.
other month.
Mhm. Mhm.
um, so I know that that's like some psychological shit on a whole nother level that I have to deal with.
Schedules appointment with therapist.
Already did. Let me write this point down in my
Interesting.
journal so I
That
could
is
talk to her
really
about it.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some
Also, like,
research on that.
yeah, oh, yes, definitely. What about those friends who only come around when you are doing well in life?
Oh, I ain't got none of them. And you know why? Because I keep people at an arm's length, and
Hey, that's
nobody knows my business because I
that's
don't post
right. That's
anything.
right.
So no one knows when I have anything going on. That's good.
You
Except
have
my intimate friends and my family.
right. You have those opportunist friends, and then what those friends who are I can't say mad at your success or the direction of your life, but what about those friends who I don't know, they kind of can see you from a distance, or they have heard about what you're doing, and
Hmm.
they're like, "Mm," like, like that
So
mm.
I'm not gonna say that that hasn't happened, but I think that they didn't get much benefits from me, because I just don't put that much effort into people that's not, I don't have an intimate relationship.
What
Like,
if it is your intimate friends though? They see that you
ooh.
are they see, like they can see that you are doing. They know through other intimate friends in the friends group, or just they see through social media or whatever, and they're just like, "Mm, she just bought that house. She just got engaged. She just got that job.
Mm.
Mm,
You know,
she just seems so happy."
okay.
And how can she be happy when I'm not in her life? Just friends
Right.
though. Just friends, just friends.
Y- I honestly can't think of me personally having that experience, because I'm just not on social media like that.
True, true.
So, if you don't talk to me frequently and like keep up with me, like, and like talk on the phone or text, then you probably don't know what's going on
Right,
with what
right.
I got going on. There's people when we went to our high school reunion who thought my nephew was my son. And right. And like that's because like I think and I posted probably 2 pictures of him in the 8 years that he's been alive. And I do things like my twin, my baby, like I'll post out, that'll
Yeah,
be the
yeah.
caption. So like I had people asking me about my kids, and I was like, I have a dog. ma'am.
That's it.
So like if you don't know me, but
Know
this is
me, right.
anyone. If you don't know them, social media is not a good representation of the type of person that they
Exactly.
are.
Exactly. No matter how close you are on social media, they can be in your
Yeah.
close friends. You can see every single time they go live. You can see every
Yeah.
single post of theirs. You don't know what's going on in their life. And that is the myth of social media, which is another conversation for another
Yeah.
time. But, you know, I think that's spot on what what you said, and it's very important to understand that a lot of time we spend so much energy into stuff that we really don't even know about.
Right.
We just think we know so much.
And you know what? I always have known this, but now I know it on a whole different level because I'm not active on social media. Because we had an instance, you were there, Janicia was there, where I was like, oh my gosh, to someone that we knew, I
Mhm.
was like congratulating them on like an engagement, and she wasn't engaged no more. And everybody was like,
Ooh.
"Ooh." And you was like, bitch, I thought you knew. And I was like, how can I know if y'all don't tell me? Because I don't check this shit often. The
Oh my
last time I
god.
checked this 7 months ago, she was engaged. So that's
Ooh.
the last thing I knew about her life. So now I don't even ask people.
Right.
Like if there's something I see about them on social media, I don't ask about it no more because I don't even keep up enough with people's long ass novels that they be posting about their lives on social media.
Bruh.
All the twists and turns, I just can't keep up
It's
with
like his
it.
own little soap opera on social media.
Right?
Especially Instagram stories. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You watch that like you watch TV.
Mm. Have you had an instance where someone
Um, Maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't pay attention to me. I'm better
but
off that way.
have you ever had anyone like hit you up that was like a social media friend or um like even maybe an intimate friend where they saw things about you on social media and the way that they approached you about it was kind of like they had a chip on their shoulder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ugly. It wasn't ugly. It was ugly. It got really ugly because I was I was very just like,
Turned off, huh?
yeah, like how does this why are you upset at me because of what I choose to do? Why do you care? Why do you feel entitled to know anything about my life and what I do and what I choose, where I choose to
Right.
go, what I choose to engage in, like the decisions that I make? This has nothing to do with you. You are not entitled to any of this.
Hmm.
So, whatever's going on with you, you need to figure that out because it don't have nothing to do with me. Maybe you had an expectation of me or you had an idea of me that I don't fit into, and you need to figure that out for yourself. Like I just can't spend my time and my energy focused on people who are no longer in my close friends group like that.
Right.
I can't, like, that don't even make sense to me. But it did make me think about the important values that I do hold within friendships, because then a lot of the friendships that I either chose to end or ended, by themselves or whatever, they were lacking these things. And so I came up with this little list of values. And I think for friendships, I don't know, you figure out how you stack up. I think, of course, honesty is
Hmm.
important in friendship, transparency is important, open mindedness is important in friendship,
Yes.
being trustworthy is important in friendship.
Oh,
Being
that's wait. Are you going in a certain order? Or this is just
just
oh,
thinking.
okay.
Being empathetic is important in
Yes.
friendship. Being non-judgmental, and everybody has
Because it's a
uh,
relationship.
Yes, exactly. But everybody has a love-hate relationship with the judgments that they get in their friendships and relationships. We are all working on being non-judgmental. But I think that is important, as long as my friends know, like, underneath all the shade and the drama, like, I'm not judging you. Being non-judgmental, and also being
behind the cold heart is some
being
warmth.
able to be an accountable an accountability partner. Being able to be an accountability partner is important in my friendships. And so I feel like I can definitely say, in my close, intimate friendships with the people who I truly consider my deepest friends, I have all of those things. If we don't have those things, we are probably not close, intimate friends. We are probably just casual acquaintances. And that's fine. But I keep an open mind and I allow for things to grow. So if you are a casual friend, I'm not going to say there's not a spot for you in my close, intimate friends. I'm not looking for it to happen. If it happens, it happens. But, I'm not completely closing myself off to gaining more close, intimate friends.
I've had casual friends who turned into intimate friends.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I'm just, I don't want to say less interested, maybe more guarded than most people.
That's a good point. I was trying to figure out earlier, am I less interested in building those types of relationships, or am I more guarded? I don't know yet.
Yeah, it
might be a little bit of both.
Bit of both. Yeah. It's definitely both, because you think about all the efforts you put in your friendships that you already have, and how that has been something that's been happening for, like, pretty much, it could span a lifetime, all the effort that you put into it, and just thinking about having to do that with a new person who doesn't really know you like that.
And all of the time, and the energy, and the
Yeah.
that it takes to build that friendship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of interest, or what was the other one we said? Being more reserved.
Being guarded, yeah.
Being guarded and reserved, like, yeah, I can definitely see it being both. But I do have to say that I tend to reflect pretty frequently about my friends, because my friends, like, y'all are such a huge part of my life. I have friends, like you were kind of mentioning earlier, we have our core group of friends, and then we each individually have other close friends that none of us really have any clue about. Like, we all have those friends. And I think for me, like, if you were ever my friend at any point in my life and we don't speak anymore, or we're just like casual social media friends, you don't have my contact anymore, we're not the everyday type of friend, I can still, like, respect you.
Yeah.
And feel like I'm open towards you.
Right. And that's the thing, like, I'm never not open towards anything. So that's not my intentions, is just to be closed off towards ever having these experiences with other people.
But for the people who, you understand the value of friendship, you've been through your struggles in friendship and in relationship, I'm going to bring back our handy dandy trusty segment. It's been a long time since we've done #wise words.
Wise words.
But I'm going to bring back #wise words. And all I can say is, hold on to the lessons, even if you are letting go of a friendship. Like, we're all here to help each other be the best versions of ourselves, even if we aren't meant to be in each other's lives for forever.
That's true.
It really takes a mature person to understand that you may not be in a person's life for forever in the role of a friend. But understand that you play a role in their growth and in their development. Yeah, you still have plenty of value. You were meant to cross paths. You were meant to be in their life for a season and them in yours for a season. Just understand that. What if someone who's no longer in your life by choice actually helped you to grow into more of who you are meant to be?
So I think about that all the time. I have said before, like, oh my gosh, this person must have just been like just a placeholder in that moment in time so that I can learn this lesson so that I can be in this place that I am right now. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Like a person who you may not be friends with today, that person could have come through your life and left a mark on you that changed you as a person, or that taught you something that you carry with you today that helps you be better. I don't know if that even makes sense, but
no, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Like I think about people who are no longer in my life, but I think about that time in my life that they were in my life and what I was learning from them at the time, or maybe I didn't even recognize that I was learning from them at the time. And now at this age and at this time, I'm able to look back and be like, oh, here's the answer to what I was thinking back in 2016.
Right.
This person helped me come to that conclusion. And I probably would have never come to that conclusion without that person. So here we are 4 years later, and I have another answer. But this person is no longer my friend.
Yeah.
They still help me, and I can't take that away from them.
You're still
and I'm
grateful
fine.
for the experience that you had with them and the lessons that you took from that.
Exactly. I'm fine with that because it's like, that's the goal anyway. That's the mission. We're just trying to grow and evolve and be who we are meant to be. And whoever comes in our lives to teach us and to help us along the way, we got to stay open to that so that we don't miss out. Because that, like I said, that's the mission. That's the goal. That's my wise words.
I can't think of any wise words. The only thing that I know is everyone in your life is going to have an impact on you, whether that be a positive impact or a negative impact. Everyone that has those impacts on you forms you into the person that you ultimately become.
Right.
Like all those experiences, exactly, plays a role in the person that you become, and the growth or the downfall that you have. So it's up to you what you take out of that relationship and like what you let impact you. So I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons why I stay guarded, is because I'm like, I don't want no one to impact or influence me negatively. So I just make sure I keep my little positive circle, and that's that's good enough for me.
But you can learn from negative experiences. I think you can learn from negative
yes, of course. I think that's where you do your best learning, is from a negative experience, and I think that's where you have the most growth. But I want to know, because y'all be holding back, I want to hear some of these friendship breakup stories that y'all have.
I want to have some friendship breakups,
some good ones. Like some ones that may not be like, involve a conflict, and then some understanding ones, peaceful ones. But we really do want to know the ones that
I was about to say, I really want to know the drama. Do y'all have some drama? Please fill the inbox with the drama.
Yes. At notsoprivatepod@gmail.com.
Hit us up. You got our numbers. Text us. Let us know what's tea. Because I know every friendship is not the understanding, let's take the high road. When they go low, we go high type of friendship. Like, I know that can't be true. So let us know.
They've gone low. The one that I said I would go back and tweet, it went low and I went lower. That's why I want to tweet it.
You should have shared. You should have shared. We might have to do a part 2 to this conversation.
Maybe story time.
We have to do another story time. Jacked up friendships. But yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about, friendships, whether we outgrow these friendships. I felt a little funny about that word outgrowing. Right. But now
I kept trying not to say it.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better though, because just because you outgrow something, it doesn't mean any slight against the other person. It just means you kind of went in 2 different directions. And I think hopefully we really clarified that with this conversation.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. I liked what we touched on. I've realized some things about myself like every week that we talk. That's why I don't like talking to you. So like I said, y'all need to let us know some of y'all stories so we can talk about those instead and stop talking about me.
We are always spilling our guts on this doggone show.
Yeah. Like y'all know, the LDBs are my casual friends. Yeah. And they're getting a little too personal.
Y'all are getting a little too intimate with
us. Arm's length, guys. Arm's length.
We are challenging Jeanne to expand her comfort zone. She's going to get out of her comfort zone.
Well, I guess you're going to try to expand my comfort zone again next week.
You already know.
Well, damn.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So we will talk to y'all next time for another Not So Private Conversation. Stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready. Be on your P's and Q's because you know I'm coming with it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, long distance besties, for joining us again for another Not So Private Conversation. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Jeanne V. Williams. That's at Jeanne, Jeanne V. Williams, and at Perfectly Mia. That's at Perfectly MIA. And if you have any topic suggestions or any questions, shoot us an email at notsoprivatepod@gmail.com.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. Remember to leave a review on Spotify, Apple, and Google. You can also find us at Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and Breaker. And you can find us on anchor.fm/NotSoPrivatePod. Now you can also hear us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Not So Private Podcast channel. Now, with all of that being said, join us next time for another Not So Private Conversation.